Welcome into a very exciting episode of The Scene, an emergency podcast edition. On the phone with me today is Judd Nielsen of Rapid City Summer Nights. Judd, welcome to the show.
Thank you. Thank you, Bubba.
Well, unfortunately, we're talking in desperate times here. Before we get into the current situation, can you give us a brief history of the last 17 years of Summer Nights in Rapid City?
Well, as many are aware, at least West River, we started this event 17 years ago out of a downtown leadership class of 2007. So we began this event. 2008 was the initial year, and it's kind of grown and evolved into what it was. We've always shut down our main thoroughfares. The intent was to get people downtown to enjoy what downtown Rapid City has to offer. Walk around, see what's going on. As many people know, prior to that, revitalization was a big thing in Rapid City, and it kind of had been downtrodden, the previous decades before that. So that was one of their ways to kind of bring back the vibrance of Rapid City in the downtown community.
So the city has used Summer Nights and your volunteer hours and all of the time that you have put in to revitalize and bring back downtown to make it more viable for businesses to come into the downtown area and revitalize that area. Is that a fair assessment?
Absolutely. That was the original intent, and we feel that we accomplished that as well.
I think coming from the outside and looking in, I would say no doubt. I see the pictures. I no longer live in the Black Hills, but I follow. I'm a good friend with Mitchell Stafford, Stitch from Hot 93.1.
Absolutely.
So I'm constantly seeing the effect that the event has on the community, right? So there's no doubt that it serves a purpose.
Absolutely.
So now we move into the last several months. You've had some trouble securing permits for the next years. I understand from reading today that you had for the prior 7 or 8 years, you have had a contract of permits, a long-term solution. And then in 22 or 23, that long-term solution was no longer contracted. Is that correct?
I think some of that is a little bit misleading or incorrect. Let me explain. So, in 2014, we had a study come in. The same guy who helped us with Main Street Square, which is another prized possession of Rapid City, brings us all together. In that study, he recommended, again, where we should move or where we should be within our downtown community, and everyone agreed to it that it was the location that is currently selected. With that, we also, since that process was very taxing on our volunteer efforts, we also wanted to secure a 5-year permit so that we wouldn't have to go back to the city for continuous permit approval. So that got us through about 2018-19. At that point, the city decided that they would change the permit process and run it through Rapid City Parks and Rec. And then the Legal and Finance Committee, after approved, the Legal and Finance Committee would either approve or deny our beverage application. So we had to have a separate permit for that as well. So that's where it was pretty much a rubber stamp the next several years. Of course, we didn't have an event in 2020 due to COVID. But ever since that, we basically have gotten a rubber stamp from Parks and Rec, goes to the city council, 2 hearings, I give a quick update, and it usually gets approved. So now coming up to last year, when we've been notified, of the letter that everyone refers to that was released by city council members, we started to understand that we need to get our permit in because any type of move or any type of issue creates impacts on everybody who supports our event, meaning all the contracts we sign with sound, with bands, etc. And so we knew this was kind of coming, but not to this extent.
Right. And having that rubber stamp in the past has provided some security for you guys to go ahead with planning and to be able to move in a manner to which you were accustomed to. You were accustomed to a little bit of a schedule and how things were flowing. And then all of a sudden this year, now you weren't delivered the letter personally from the businesses. The businesses delivered that to the city council and city council delivered that to you. Is that what I'm understanding?
No. So the fact the businesses brought that letter to us as a way to find ideas, to work together. They had a few issues. One was parking, one was shutting down 7th Street, one was taking away some of their food business, and the other one was loss of revenue. So there was kind of 4 issues with it. Well, and then there was youth running around downtown causing issues. So where I'm going with this, I guess, is they brought it to us. We looked at it. We acknowledge that anytime you bring 5,000 people downtown, there's issues. Anytime you shut down a street, there's going to be issues. But does the overall benefit of what we do for our community, is it worth it? And we absolutely believe it is.
Well, and any business or organization would do that cost-benefit analysis and would have open lines of communication with the community and the businesses therein. Would you say that you've fulfilled that end?
Absolutely. I have from day, and if I could go back, I've been the lead of our board for 5 years now. Up until last year, I hadn't heard one word from any business that they were unhappy with what we are doing. And we've not changed anything over the years. Maybe the event has evolved. Maybe COVID caused some consternations, construction, financial issues at Main Street Square. We don't know, right? There's a lot of things that happen in the background. Sorry, I lost my train of thought. But so go ahead, fix me up.
No, yeah, and you're fine.
Live, right?
And we're taping live, but of course, yeah. What I guess I'm trying to get at is that obviously 17 years, you haven't just come in and said, this is the way it's going to be. We don't care what you business owners say, which is kind of the way that, reading some of the emails that council members have sent back to citizens that pretty much says, well, Summer Nights doesn't want to work with us and we're just, we're kind of done with them. It is the vibe that I'm getting, not obviously verbatim, but for what you're telling me is that you have been working with these people. Obviously, you're downtown on these streets. You're a citizen of Rapid City. I'm sure you're friends with some of these downtown business owners at this point. It's not like there is zero communication between the Summer Nights board or the members of that board and the businesses that are downtown. Is it fair to say that you were blindsided this year by this letter and the route that it has taken through the council, and now coming to a point where you may not receive your permits for the 2025 season?
Absolutely. We've met with them at every turn. We've implemented their suggestions for some of the businesses. We've provided a bunch of suggestions, none of which have gotten taken part of, or implemented themselves. We are open to any ideas they have that we could provide to benefit their business. Now, what I'm surprised of is people saying that we don't want to work with them, that we are the ones holding this up. This is a board made up of all volunteers with families, with jobs, you name it. It's not like you can tell me we need to move and I'm just going to go to my engineering department at the city and say, hey guys, figure this out. This is what you do today. That's not what I get to do. I get to take it back to a board who just picked up their kid from school and maybe get an hour and a half of their time each month to try to figure out what a solution is. And it's not possible.
Well, and especially I have experience organizing events, nothing to the scale of this. And I looked at your map today as I'm doing my due diligence and my research. This is taking up a substantial footprint downtown. This is a large-scale event, 5,000 plus people every single Thursday. It's no small feat to try and move that. Oh, and it's not just one time. It's 15 times during the summer. I know you've proposed maybe cutting that back to alleviate some of these concerns. So obviously there has been some give and take, at least on your end, to say, hey, we're willing to take major financial losses to what we're doing to cut this down to help alleviate some of these other pressures on the businesses, but I don't feel like you're being met in good faith at the negotiating table.
I would absolutely agree with you at this point.
So what are the next steps? I know you have a meeting today with legal and finance. Is there anything that can come out of that is positive for Summer Nights?
Not really. They can move it to the full city council They could positively, I guess they could move it forward with a positive recommendation. But at this stage of the game, I've been told by a council member in the last meeting that we do not have the votes. Now, that was a couple weeks ago. Things could change. It's changed in the past because I thought we had the votes in the past, but nothing real positive. The Monday night meeting is really the one that will kind of dictate our future.
So Monday, December 16th, 6:30 p.m., Rapid City City Hall, correct?
Yes.
Now, everyone will have a chance, citizens will have a chance to voice their opinion at this meeting. Is that correct?
Yes. City Council allows each citizen or each attendee a 3-minute window to kind of speak their mind.
Would you say that the most important thing for people that want to save summer nights right now is to show up to that meeting with as many people as you can behind you and to show your full support of summer nights remaining where it is, at least for this year? And that's all that you guys are asking for, correct?
All that we want is 1 year to help us figure this out. And I've documented in an addendum with our permit that we need 1 more year to figure this out. And if we don't figure it out, you know what? Maybe we go away at that point or we move. So that's kind of where it's at. We're not committed. Go ahead.
No, well, I'm just wondering, did it really come down to at this point that you just run out of time, that they kind of approached you after the season had already finished this season and then moving through the last few months of the political, and the city council meetings and all these things? I mean, in some sense, you have to be like half planned for 2025 when you're halfway through 2024, at least of kind of having, vendors that you're targeting and all of these other things. I mean, you don't just plan all of this in a month and say, here's 15 giant productions.
In the simplest form, I should be done booking my bands
now,
right? But I don't want to hold any band accountable to a date that I can't promise them right now.
Well, because you would have to pay that band. If you sign a contract with them, you would be financially liable for a date that you couldn't guarantee you were going to have an event on. It would be malpractice of your organization to do so.
Well, correct. They would not sign our contract the way it's written if it's written where we have to have approval. But as a band, I'm not booking a weekend date in Rapid City, even if I'm a local, if, I'm not using up that date if I know that it's not going to happen.
Exactly. So fair to assess then that the scheduling of all of these things and has already hindered you in putting on the 2025 event as it has been in the past. Is that fair?
Yeah, that's a fair statement.
I don't want to get off the rails here. So I think what we'll do, let's plug it all again, because I could get down into reasons why businesses and things would want to do this, but I don't want to do that to you. We can address that down the line if need be. Okay. Go ahead, plug the meeting again. Let people know how they can get involved. Let them know how they can get in touch with you or council members. Let us know how we can help you, Judd.
Yeah, we would love the support of the citizens. This event is the citizens' event. This is Rapid City's event, not mine. I'm just right now the guy taking the beating from every direction because I'm interrupting the process. So please reach out to your city council members. You could send email to rapidcitysummernights@gmail.com if you want to get any contact information you need. We need more than anything. The people are going to determine this. The people run the city, not 10 council members. The people do. They voted for them. You have to show up. As right now, I do not believe we have the votes to have a 2025 season. And if that's the case, we will never receive another permit in a downtown Rapid City again. I'm pretty sure of that.
And I would have to agree with you. So everybody listening to this, get down if you're in the Rapid City area or close. I know you guys just got a bunch of snow out there, at least in the northern hills. I'm seeing plenty of it. But if you're able, Monday, December 16th, 6:30 p.m., City Hall, downtown Rapid City, get down there and fill that building up and let these people know that they are not in control. And some of them have stated as such that they are the ones with the power, and that is not true. The people hold the power, and we need to show up in force to let them know that. Judd, thank you for being on the show with me today. I really appreciate your time.
Hey, I appreciate you guys and all you do. Thank you.